able to see my screen or not, please?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, it's visible.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So here is my request to you. These are my working agreements. First of all, at any given point in time in the continuous for the next couple of minutes of it, you have any questions, you don't have to wait till end of the session. You just have to mute me. I mean, like, you just have to say, "Hi, Aditya, I have a question." Unmute yourself and then you can ask about it, right? So feel comfortable. Just ask me any questions you have. Someone is trying to do whiteboarding. I understand. We are also excited for that. We'll also get into that mode. I request don't do anything on the screen right now. With that said, let's move forward. So we are a hosting team. Megha, thanks for giving me an opportunity to come to this, give me an opportunity to share my perspectives here. I'll just try and give a very high level glimpse about what is my role or what is my journey overall. I started way back in 2013 as a business analyst or a junior BA, I would say. From 2013 to 2018, I was into multiple roles of junior BA, senior BA to associate product manager. So in this role specifically, I was a mediator between internal and external stakeholders, gathering their inputs, how the things will work, doing the user documentation, mobile flows, and then a lot of stakeholder management, I would say. Everything taking from my seniors, understanding those things and going on with the flow. And from 2018 till now, I've been into multiple roles of project manager, program manager, portfolio manager, and a product manager right now also. So here again, it's into stakeholder, extensive stakeholder. But if you look at the second image here, this one actually represents I'm listening right now. I'm in a position wherein listening to customers, listening to speakers, listening to business people, understanding what they are looking for, what is their problem statement, right? Understanding various other things, and based on that, coming up with a new product or coming up with a new solution or maybe a new improvement process. So that's wherein the journey is going on. I'm very much excited with my journey of it. So without further ado, let's get into today's session. So here is what I'll be talking about. This is the agenda. Will be just, I would request someone to go on mute, please. Shruti, I think. Thank you. So overview, very quick high level overview of it. And then we look at the overlap journey and we look at RACI metrics, how it is important in an organization. I'll try and give you a perspective of how does this thing changes from organizations to organization, from startup to MSMEs to MNCs, from a general perspective. And also we'll have a Q&A session, hoping that if we get time. All right, so let's start with the whiteboarding. I will share, I'm still sharing my screen. Let me, hope everyone is aware of how do you do the whiteboarding part. If not, also no worries. I'm sharing my whiteboard. If can someone confirm that you are able to see that?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, it's visible, bro.
All right, thanks for that. You just have to open your, I think, okay, I got it. So everyone feel the thing is, here you have to write in, what do you think will a product manager does? In your perspective, what are the roles and responsibilities a PM does in this bucket, wherever you want to write it? And what are the roles which overlap with each other? And another thing, how does for UX world? So these are three different buckets, I would say. So just click on the annotates and then write in, what do you think, what are the skill sets a product manager does, right? So write in anywhere here. And what are the things which gets overlap between each other, overlap. So write in here, UX, what goes into UX, write in here. So there is no right or wrong question, right or wrong answer. Just sharing your thoughts. If you are not sure about something, I don't know which where it will fall under, just drop it in a overlap bucket. I'll navigate it freely. Uh, is anyone having challenges in getting that annotate feature?
Yeah, me, Swapnil.
Okay,
Myself
so
too.
okay, Swapnil, you will see an option of you view more. You have to click on that. Once you click on that, you will see something called annotate, enable annotate.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, so once you click it, you will get that menu options of those things. Click on text and then select anywhere on the whiteboard screen, and then you just have to type in. Let's take, I'm writing an example here as roadmap.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. As I said, there is no right or wrong answer. Just type in whatever you want. I'll provide you inputs later on. Understanding user pain points, true. User journey, correct. Product vision, correct. Product and user research, understanding, okay. Someone is writing timelines. Megha, I think you're writing that. Completed. Understanding business model, correct. User research will fall into board buckets. Manage developers, designers, and develop all the different teams. Yes, true.
Like it's hard for me to edit it. Like I just typed manage developers, designers, but I couldn't edit it again.
That's okay. So write it again, maybe differently.
Yeah.
Stakeholder collaboration and stakeholder management. Okay, that becomes an overlap. Oh, everyone is writing everything into product management. Okay. Good to know that there are many folks who are into product management. Understanding users, wireframes.
Yeah.
When you say user flows, okay, what testing? Business metrics, okay. Business metrics goes into product management. Scrum management goes into you. Zulfikar, you have to use, okay, you are from your mobile, is it? Okay. You have to use texting, but if you are using a freehand, it's you will get so many beautiful designs, but you're not able to write a proper sentence.
New York, Beekman Ale House. I'm just working. Also,
Yeah, I'm using my phone. So
Yeah, challenges, man. I understand.
why do you even bother with the
2
choo-choo
minutes
style?
is over, so I guess we can move forward.
Low profile. Come on. Choo-choo.
Hey, someone, please mute yourself, please.
Really good. We like light. We like light.
Okay.
Hiteshu, you are trying to write something, PI. Okay, you are still writing. I'm sorry for that. All right, we will close this activity in just another 30 seconds. If you want to write anything, mockups, primary research, someone is writing secondary research. I'll take that. Designing, yes. Designing, yes. Testing the designs, okay, that's also true. Empathy. What else? Are we done, or do you think you required another 5, 20,
I
30
want
seconds of time.
um, I want to put that follow up with KPI and stuff in PM.
Okay, here KPI. Okay, got it. So let me write
I
it
couldn't
on
able
your
to move it.
behalf. KPIs and what else you said?
Follow up with KPI and communicate with digital marketing teams regarding the same.
Okay, communication in general, I'll say. All right, anyone, do you need another 30 seconds, 15, 20 seconds or 30 seconds of time to write something?
We are good to go.
Can we add over here define product vision and define the North Star metrics?
Okay, someone said North Star metrics, vision, and what else? North Star metrics, vision, and something was there. I think strategy, maybe. All right. Thank you. Thanks a lot for doing this. So this, whatever you have mentioned over here is fairly, I would say, reasonable. Most of the things are correct. There are definitely some things which are overlapping with each other. Let's look at what are those things. Is still someone writing? I'll be stopping this whiteboard screen. Okay, I will consider that as no. No one is writing that. All right. Stop share. Share back my screen.
Sorry, I just
Maybe I've summarized it up here, but I'll also take in some of your points which you have shared it, which I have captured over a screen. So I'll also look at those points as well. Sorry for back and forth. I'm just navigating between multiple things. So if you look at the left-hand side of product management, wherein you are looking at, can someone confirm you are able to look at my screen and the presentation?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
visible.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. So for product management, the left side is all about vision, strategy, defining the North Star metrics of it, defining those KPIs, OKRs, listening to customers, strategy for formulation, prioritization, and definitely managing those developers, designers, and all. Doing those market analysis. However, that specific market analysis would be an overlap between user experience design and us. User experience design will look at from a user, as the word says, from an user experience standpoint, but whereas a product manager will come in from a complete overall picture on how does the product is going, what are those evolves thing, how the product will evolve on a continuous life cycles, what can be improved upon, how this particular feature will be creating much more revenue or will create more value to the product as well as the business. So product manager will come from a different mindset of how they do the user research versus user experience person doing it, user design part. So if you look at the extreme right side, these are the things high levelly. I've just highlighted only those specific, the main aspects of it in information. Sorry, someone have a question? All right. Site maps, interaction designs, which also include prototyping, mockup, wireframes. Again, wireframes, mockups are also overlap between two other entities, product manager and user experience person. So that's a combination of both of the people will be doing it. Who is that? The main person accountable for that? There is no defined statement. It goes accordingly with that. Product manager and a user experience person, the team members have to discuss and define who would be doing what at the initial stages of it. Sometimes product manager does at a high level paper sketching standpoint and does the mock flows as well using Figma or maybe Adobe XD or various other tools as such. And user experience person comes into picture, provides much more better insights on how it can be done better, right? From an extremely from an experience navigation flow standpoint. So if you look at in between user research, that's a combination of both the parties would be doing persona, wireframe, user stories. User stories, again, product manager will define user stories in terms from a business standpoint, in terms from a business product standpoint, whereas user experience person defines the user stories in terms of navigation, how users would be experiencing their product, right? So they will be defining in their mindset point of it. So that's wherein there is an overlap between here and there of how the things will happen. There is always a conflict which keeps on happening at every given team you work upon, irrespective of whatever organization you have to clearly communicate. There will be conflicts, definitely, I'm very well aware of it, but there are certain metrics and approaches using that you can actually do much more, lot many good things of it. So I'll talk to you about what is that approach in upcoming slide, but I'll give a pause here if you have any questions before I move on to the next slide. I've also provided a source here at the extreme right corner. If you click there, after this session I'll share the deck with you. You can have a detailed look about how the difference goes with our every other details are very well explained over there. I'll give a pause right now.
So Aditya, I just wanted to understand
Right.
what is the difference between, like a research that is done by a product manager
Yeah.
and the user experience designer. I understand, like like a product manager, basically he thinks from a business point of perspective,
Right.
and when it comes to user experience designer, like more or less, like they will be into the user side.
Right.
But again, like it's not that like, it's not the only thing for a user experience designer. Like again, like user experience designer also has to concern about the KPIs and business metrics. Like the I mean like the business metrics. I just want to understand like, how it is differing, because like it's almost like they are doing the similar job. Right? What is the differing, that one particular thing that's differing from each other?
I would say the mindset. Your question itself has the answer actually. It's a mindset of how we perceive the things. As you rightly mentioned, a product manager perceive the things, everything from a business mindset to as an end goal of what this product or that specific feature is bringing value. What is that revenue which you will be getting? What is that impact which it is giving to the product? Ultimately, it is touching upon the revenue factor. With this feature, will this give me more customers? I can retain my customers. Will that add me more revenue? So ultimately, product manager every time looks at from that perspective, that lenses. He or she has to look from that senses and have to go about it. However, product manager will still consider the user experience flow, user experience of it, but every time it would be from a design, that business mindset of going out with it. That's the mindset part is wherein the major difference is what I have experienced so far. From an user experience standpoint, again, they also collaborate with us in order to get that revenue. An experience of a user has to be amazing. If the experience is not good, how much ever the feature has the value, user will not able to understand it. What is that you are bringing to the table, right? So their user experience is much more about it. How the color combinations are there. Not only color combinations, user experience will talk much more details of navigation flow, having a burger menu at the right side, logout feature should be at here. They'll be talking many other things of it. So we have to understand and see how it is aligned with our business idea, business problem, who are our target audience. So based on that, we will have to collaborate with them and say that, see, here are our targeted audience, and here is your user experience journey is there. So how we can map together so that we get an awesome product.
All
So
right.
that's where it goes on.
Okay.
But there is no right or wrong defined. We cannot have it's a cat on a wall, I would say. Sometimes you jump here, sometimes user experience also does the road mapping, and we also jump in there and say that, you know what, I'll do the site mapping for you. So it's just a collaboration within each other.
So I'm just trying to put my understanding over here to
Sure.
confirm if this is correct or not.
Yeah.
When it comes to product management, like more or less, like predominantly they will be focusing on the business perspective, and then they will also think about the user. But when it comes to user experience designer, predominantly they will be thinking about the users and on a smaller part, they'll be thinking about their business and they'll be collaborating with the product manager to kind of get that flow, isn't it?
I'm actually clapping. You summarized it very well. Primary responsibility of a product manager is to look it from a business perspective. Secondary responsibility or inline primary responsibility, another thing is P0, P1 kind of it, is looking from a user. Again, user for that, for user experience person, primary is from an user experience, and then secondary would be this. So I cannot summarize it much better than you, so you nailed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Thank you for
All right.
clearing.
Yeah, no worries, Abhirami. Thanks for the question. All right,
Yeah.
I move forward. So here is a very quick user experience work process, which will work like this seamlessly across all the industries, all the verticals. Depending on manufacturing, things might differ a little bit, but this is how the user work experience process goes with. Once you have a problem idea in the discovery stage, you will do the brainstorming with the team, multiple team members. In the planning phase, you will be looking at who will be doing what, at what time you will be doing it, and we will actually look at various other instances, and then we'll work on the complete flow. You will look at the text design, you will followed by, you will have a sketch, you will create paper sketching, I would say, and then you will have a prototype. Once you have a prototype and business provides you an approval of that, then you get into visual design. There will be a testing on that, prototype testing, and you will discuss with the business team again. If it is going good, then once you get a receive an approval, then you will proceed to next level. Otherwise, you will go back to sketching board, and then you will continuously do this circular process back to back again and again. So this is an evolving process which keeps on regularly going about it. And one quick thing to remember is this journey, whatever you're seeing, is a generic process, and this will differ from point to point. I'll just take one quick example to help you understand how does this differ. If a business case, or if you have a problem, business case says that, I need to it's an existing business case, already the designs are there, you need to do enhancement of it, then you will not have to do sketching for that, you will directly jump to prototype. And then once you do the prototype, you'll go out for visual designs, and then followed by rest of things. Certain times there would be nothing, there will be a clean slate. That's wherein you will come here, do the text design, you do the sketching, prototyping, entire journey of it. And sometimes you will get something called, you'll just have to do certain changes at a color, or maybe spelling mistake, or some changes to be done. Then you will directly jump to visual design, and then do only those specific things, update it, get it tested, and move forward. So depending on what is your use case, the flows actually skip one or two steps and then proceed to next level. I'll give a pause again, and then I'll move on to next slide. I'll moving to next slide. So here is how the product manager work process is, which is in collaboration with multiple things. I know this is little not text is not easily to readable. I'll read it for you. So in the first journey of discovery phase is wherein a product manager plus a designer works on different activities, doing a user research, doing an experience mapping, creating the personas, interacting with those customers, user interviews and all, creating a user journey. They will be working all those things, right? So once they proceed that's where in the solution part, you will also include development team, product manager, design plus development team. In here, you will be looking at how can we do the ideation, how the prototype has to be there, what are the testings to be done. We have learned something from feedback, how we can incorporate those things and include in the solution, right? So we look at various possible layers of it, and that's wherein we proceeded. And this will be an iterative cycle. Whenever you get any feedback, you will go back to your whiteboard, do those sketchings, all those things, and then come back to solution. So it will be a regular iterative cycle, loop of a process, I would say. When you come to the last phase, development, you will see another thing. Product manager, design, development, and QA, quality analysis also included. Here, development happens. Designer will provide their mock flows, different prototypes, inputs, all those things. And then development team will work on the coding part. And then you will also learn from how the testing is going on from a unit testing standpoint, regression, user testing, or you will have A/B testing, different options testings. Once everything goes successfully good, that's wherein it goes into deployment. And then finally it goes to product launch. So here is how a typical PDLC lifecycle is. Once this is product launch is done, again the go-to marketing strategies comes into picture for a product manager on how do you market a specific product, customer acquisition, customer retention, those North Star metrics, everything comes into effect. Those things will be defined at the discovery stage only on what are those metrics which we will be tracking upon for this specific feature or a specific release. So based on that, everything actually gets sequentially go one by one. I'll be a pause here, very detailed concepts, and there are many things to understand. Happy to take any questions. All right, I'll take that as no worries. You can ask your questions later on also. All right, we have come to an important, very important part of this presentation. This is called as RACI metrics, or responsibility assignment metrics. R is defined as for responsible, a team member who does this work. Accountable is person who provides final reviews, who is accountable, who owns accountability for it. Consultant is a SME, subject matter expert, who he or she will chime in whenever is required and then goes off, plug and pay kind of concept. Informed is a person who invests their money, their funding into the business. So they need to be informed, right? So these are the quick concepts to understand. Now let's look at a metrics part. So here is a metrics wherein you can actually follow, and it is being followed across industries, or at least I have followed, and my mentors and my fellow P members also had a great experience with this metrics part. Here you can see on the left hand side, strategic context. Under in this you have defined different categories of tasks. Under discovery stage, different categories of tasks. Conducting research, different categories of tasks. So like that you can define, going down and down, you can define what is that main theme line, what are the tasks which are included in it. And if you see here, these are the roles which are being mentioned. So you can add a role here and keep on adding more roles and then include in it. So if you look here, product manager versus owner, product owner, he or she is responsible and accountable. So all these things responsible and accountable for. For a UX person who is into product designer, he or she has been consulted for a strategic context. For product vision, he's responsible but not accountable in nature. For objectives, been consultant as an SME. For UX manager, he's been informed, he or she has been informed. Stakeholder leadership, he or she has been informed, and these additional details are not required for them. So you can, here is this would in an ideal setup or in an organization, there would be a kickoff meeting. In that meeting, we will do this brainstorming effort on who would be doing what, at what level they will be doing, how they have to do it, and what they have to do it. What are the things which they have to do and things which they do not have to do. And we will also define what are the cadences. When we need to have a meeting with the product manager, when need to have a meeting with the UX team, how frequently we have to do, how frequently we should not do, what are the details which we have to share with a business leader versus a UX manager versus a product manager. For a UX manager, there might be bi-weekly call once. With a stakeholder level, you will be having a monthly once, but you will be sharing status report on a weekly basis. Whereas a product manager and a UX team will connect on a day-to-day basis, depending on how they are collaborating with it. And as a developer, you'll also connect with a day-to-day basis, and the things flows into it. So this is RACI metrics, wherein you can use to understand and define so that there are no conflicts with one another, irrespective with UX team or engineering team or QA team or anything, because initially you'll already be defining what are the things which you will be doing. On the journey while you go, if you have any conflicts, you can again come back here and refer with this metrics on how the things can proceed. Things will differ company to company, people will change or practice the things differently, but this is a generic and most valued approach wherein you can utilize it. I'll give a pause. Happy to take any questions you have.
Who keep the record of like people are following this RACI matrix or not? Who keep this record?
So sorry, Megha, I didn't get your question.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So who keep this record? Like if people are following this RACI matrix or not in a team or?
That's a very good question. That will also has to be defined in this meeting only. A product manager and a project manager will discuss together and determine who will be doing what. So it depends upon their collaboration. Sometimes a product manager does. Project manager says that, know what, I'll take it from your shoulder and I will work on it. A project manager does it. Sometimes a product owner also comes into picture and then goes about. So it's all about who will be taking that accountability. So before you coming to this session, there would be a pre-kickoff meeting. In that pre-kickoff meeting, you will be deciding, okay, what these are the things which are there on the table, who want to choose what, which dish you want to take and which dish you want to, ignore it. So based on that, we will discuss, debate and all those things. Whatever is left over, ultimately it goes with product manager, because he or she would be the ultimate responsible for the entire success of a product or failure of it, and then things goes with it. Thanks for the question. I got some various good.
And with your answer, I have one more question. Like, what are the
Please.
difference between product manager and project manager?
Okay. Product manager, simply to put in product versus project, jokes apart, but a product manager, everything will be from a product mindset, whereas project manager would be process driven mindset. A project manager will be mainly looking on 3 or 4 aspects, which is scope of a project, timelines associated with it, budget which is associated with it, and the resources. So project manager, and then there will be issues, risk, milestones, various. So everything for a project manager, it is heavily governed with process part of it. For a product manager, it is heavily governed from a product driven mindset, product led growth of it. So that's a high level differentiation. This itself becomes another topic to talk about. So I'll not get into details right now.
Yeah. I got my answer. Thank you, Aditya.
Welcome.
Yeah, in that case, like
Yeah.
I'm coming from a construction engineer, management and engineering background.
Okay.
So I have some, in-depth knowledge on the management thing. So basically, what we do in construction is we kind of, schedule the activities, follow with the micro and mini activities. Like that's how the project managers do.
Right.
And when it comes to the product managerial, part, even here, like basically these people, like they follow up with the digital marketers, they
Right.
follow up with the developers, designers, and they also kind of, keep running behind these people. They just keep checking whether the activity is on, like it's done or not. It's more or less the product manager is also a project manager. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Agreed. I cannot agree to that.
Yeah, like these people are someone like they kind of think from a product perspective, but also have some kind of skill set which a project manager obsess, they do have. That's what
Right.
my
See, the difference, the bottom line difference wherein I can also share from my perspective is, when you look at from a project management standpoint, because there would be heavily involved with the budget part, he or she, a project manager, will look at budget details, whether a project is under budget or over budget, how
Yeah.
the invoices are coming, what are the purchase orders, are we getting vendors invoices correctly or not, supplier, those things are there. So they will heavily govern with the process part of it. So they have to make sure, actually I would say they are accountable for project budget and delivering of it on the given timelines. That's a period for them. Whereas for a product manager, irrespective of whether they are getting overlapped again with project management, they will not get into budget reconciliation like a project manager does. A project manager looks into project financial reconciliation. If a invoice is missing, They will look,
Mhm.
try to get the data, follow up with multiple team
Yeah.
members, billing team, finance team, accounts team, supply team, vendor team, and procurement team. You understand those details much more than me. So they
Mhm.
get those gather things, calculate everything clearly, and the budget is coming. Is it under budget plus or minus 15%, or is it over budget? They have to provide this justification again. So
Mhm.
that would be, that justification again goes with product manager. They will be providing the explanation why we are going over budget, why we are going under budget. But project manager will provide that reconciliation effort. Hope that
Mhm.
it's a never ending topic. I would love to take another session or another topic on this. We can definitely discuss on that. But
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we'll proceed
For
forward.
now, we can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I know we are coming short of time. I'll try to skim it up. Thanks, Megha. So
Yeah.
here is wherein we are. The last segment of for this session is startup versus MSMEs and MNCs. Uh, so I'll provide from a general perspective, because I've been hearing from many of my mentees and many forums as well. How does this role changes from startup to MSMEs and MNCs, and which is the right firm to join, how to join? There are many challenges here, and so I'll try and provide a general perspective here. So in order to, because we have many people who are from different background in this group, I'll try and provide a perspective on what does a startup team look like, and then we'll get into the actual topic as well in the journey. uh, so in a startup, considering a startup always have that resource constraint from a financial standpoint, all that work would be done by if I take analysis team, these are the teams which have defined from a general perspective. There would be more teams, but these are the high level teams wherein a startup business might have. If you look at design team includes user experience, front end UI people, animators, motion graphics, video graphics. Every other team is design team, wherein one or two people would be there, maximum three, depending on the resource crunch or financial liberty you have. You will be having that. And from development, you will have all infra team, development, DevOps team, cloud, backend, front end, database. Every other team members, hardly 4 to 5 people will be there, or maybe 3 to 4, depending again on resource crunch. You will go with that. For QA, 1 or 2 people. Regression, user testing, UAT testing, user acceptance testing. Every other teams would be there in this. Business strategy, metrics, sales, marketing, governance. You will not have a different team. Rather, you will be having 1 or 2 marketing and sales, or maybe marketing will be there, operations would be there. In operations, sales also chimes in sometimes, or marketing and sales goes one hand in hand sometimes, but they are completely different to each other. But have, considering looking at various things, they only monitor how the communications are going, how do they plan on strategy for go to marketing strategies, how the content marketing has to be done, what are the metrics which has to be followed, what is the governance which they have to be followed. Governance doesn't fall under them, but he or she, a product manager, again chimes into picture, or a project manager chimes into picture and looks at governance angle as well on looking at the things done. And however, the lastly, you also have investors pitching and then getting down funding about it. So that's a very typical process or a teams which have been defined in a startup environment. So you have to define and understand where you want to fit in, how you want to fit in, or which thing aspires to you to go for, and then go about it. Everything has a learning, everything will have a risk factor. You'll have to understand how you want to go there and all. I'll in upcoming slide, I'll take little more time in explaining the difference between one another, so you have a better perspective. I'll sorry, I'm not giving time for you to ask any questions. We'll park for that at the last. These are MSMEs, which are medium, small, micro enterprises. They'll have different teams. Again, they'll also have a separate cloud hosting team, customer interaction, business strategy, cyber security, partner alliances, being global. So they'll have, because they have some financial liberty, and the business is being sustainable from at least past 10-15 years of time, and they are trying to being globally globalization, getting into global. They have little stability into the market. They will be having different set of teams, and then they keep on working on how the things are required, how the things needs to be planned. There will be a planning different team, design team will be different. In design team again will be divided into UX team differently, researchers, UX researchers separately, front end UI team separately. Like that, you have different teams. From development, you will have a database different team, cloud hosting different team, DevOps differently. So everything would be different. Resource crunch will not be there to the maximum extent, but there might be possibilities depending on the environment and market conditions. And quality, again, you will have smoke testing, regression, various other teams gets involved into it. Performance engineering additionally comes into picture. They will also work about it and goes about it. Yeah. Moving forward. So here is how multinational companies will have, because of it's been multinational and it's been across the globe. As you are able to look at here, this is a hierarchy way of how the things will keep on proceeding. And once you have a problem with you need to get a business sponsor approval, or if there are any legalities, legal team will take care of it. From data analytics standpoint, you will have to go to data analytics team. So there are various other teams which will be involved into part. So if you are focused on getting into cybersecurity, you can go for cybersecurity team itself. If you want to go for global strategy, you can go for only global strategy. Whereas in startup, you will not have these many different teams. Everything would be merged to one. In that, you will be, you as a product manager or you as a designer or whatever your role is, you will not only be working on that specific role. Also, you will be moving from, let's take an example. You are a product manager. You'll also be doing marketing activities. You'll also get into testing team and do the testing of a product. You'll also get into HR team and doing the recruitment for them. Or I'll also do the screening of a profile and do it. So depending on what you are, how it is being structured, you will do those activities related to that. Because the larger organizations has everything been defined very well, and you have the teams which been categorized differently, things goes differently, and then you have to practice upon. And moving forward, here is a comparison, I would say, on how the structure or a path can be defined upon. Starting from here, let's go from MNC part. So MNC, here the path is very well defined. So for MNC part, you will have learnings. You will definitely have learnings, but because the path has been already been very well defined, you will be having learnings only from this journey of it. Whatever you have, whether it might be stakeholder or whatever the learnings are, you will be whatever the journey has been defined to you. In that journey, you will be learning those things. You will be getting the brand name, you will be getting that work flexibility, you will be having that stability in the company, job security, again subject to change. These days, job security is not there in any of the verticals, any of the industries, so that's completely subject to change. But you will have completely flexibility here, and sometimes stress will be there, but you will have to manage it. But path is very well defined. Whereas coming to medium MSMEs, path is partially defined. So he or she, the company will start the progress there. Once they come into here, they will realize that they are going in the wrong route, and they come back again, and they will explore, keep on exploring. They will have various obstacles from something from business standpoint, or from a market standpoint, or from an investor standpoint, or a technology upfront itself. But I'll figure it out because path has been partially defined, and the things will proceed accordingly with that. MSMEs, it's a partiality of startup as well as MNC work culture. So you will still have exposure towards different departments like marketing or sales. However, you will not be working with them, but you will still have some opportunities on understanding how their team works, how they are operating about it, how they go with that. You can also get some in town hall meetings or all hands meeting or those kind of things. You can also get some inputs on how the things are proceeding. If you are interested, you can collaborate with them and from a stretch assignment perspective and go about it. So in this, it's a mixture and matcher of both of things. You can learn the things very well. You will have stability. You'll also explore a lot depending on how much what's project or a product has been allocated to you. In this, you will not be, if you are a product manager, you will not be working from end to end. Already something would be defined. You have to take that chunk and then start working from there and from that flow. Whereas in MNC, you will be working, if you are given development, or let's take strategy, you will be working focused only on into strategy from a product management standpoint. Whereas for MSMEs, if you are given an opportunity, you will be given a strategy, but you still can explore strategy, testing, marketing, and various other teams. So you will be working on multiple products or multiple categories, I would say, but not entirely. Now coming to startups, it's that there is no path defined. Everything has to be defined by themselves. So they will keep on figuring out, and it will be an interesting journey. Learning would be there. Risk factor is there. If you are a person who is looking for stability and having a brand and looking for stability, work-life balance, startup is not the right place. If you're looking for learning, because you work in one year in startup, 1 year equivalent will be equivalent to experience of 5 years in an MNC. In 1 year you will learn a lot of learning that for the next 5 years to 6 years you will just practice that to make it to mastery of it. So that journey is also equally important. There will be having many mistakes, lessons learned would be there, but you will keep on improving yourself. Here in the startup journey, you will not only work on your product, rather you will be working with other products as well. Sometimes you will be only one person who for the entire team of it. So you'll be working into marketing, you will be doing designing, you will be doing testing, you will be doing strategy, you will also get into recruitment, you will also do that. So because it's a startup culture, and you will have many resource crunches of it. Financially stability is not less of it. So you'll have so much of exposure and so much of learnings. So if you are a person who want to learn, eager for learning, excited about it, want to take risk in life and then proceed with it, want to achieve something, I would suggest you to go for startups part. Again, everything is subject to change depending on how the organizations are being structured. Things will differ, but this is kept in a general perspective, considering things will subject to change. I know I took additional time, but thanks. So that's about it, folks. Happy to take any questions. Sorry to Nikhil and Nikita, I would say. Sorry, Geeta, you asked me about user flow, which I could not define detailedly. And you also asked me about roles and responsibility of PMs versus user experience. I try to share some perspective, but we can discuss offline.
Yeah, sure, Aditya.
Thank you. All right, open for any questions you have.
Love the session. Yeah, Birani, you want to ask something?
I just have some funny question to ask. Like,
Please.
like I have no idea because like I'm more inclined towards product management. Like even like I'm into this UXM course, but still I don't know. Somehow I feel like I belong to product management role. Like, do you think it's a good choice to kind of join a startup or something like that as a fresher? And have no clue because like I did my master's in the management field as well, and now getting to know about all these, this UX perspective, this helped me to understand the business in a much better manner than before. Now I kind of feel like maybe I should go and give it a try in product management role, like rather than just I'm just thinking of like what is your advice or
I would rather not say advice, but this is my thought process or my perspective. I'll put it that way. It's just all about mindset. And then because you have so much of experience, don't join in as a fresher. See what is the similarities between your role take a notepad or a Word document, define what are the responsibilities which you are doing right now, and look at product manager responsibilities. See how those things are overlapping with each other, things which you already do have and which you want to improve upon, things you think that you do not have, which you can work upon to gain the knowledge. So once you are able to map those things better, I think that's wherein you can take a journey of being a product manager, rather than from, you can take any company, your choice of it. Again, as I said, you will have various learnings if you want to take risk. Considering startup culture, work-life balance mostly will not be there, but if you're lucky, you will get it. Again, subject to change on investment standpoint and how the product is going about it. So you have to make a decision. If you are not, if you are comfortable with financials, go for startup, because you'll learn a lot. Because I worked into startup, mid-level organization and MNCs, and I was able to see the difference completely. So from that mindset, I'm trying to share the things. That's how the things will go. But I would say it's a matter of practice. Look at the product manager terminology. People will talk about various other things. If you hear out of a blue moon about 3 horizons of growth, it should not be, what is that, right? So at least you have to understand. You don't know the concept, but you have to understand, okay, that something is there. So look at the product management glossary. I'll try and see if I have the link right now to share it. Just a moment. So having that would make more understanding on how do you go about it. So that's what I'll keep it as, product glossary. And again, I'm sorry, just one thing. I just want to say I'm open for mentoring or providing some information. If you think required, share my perspectives, and at any given point in time, you can connect with me and we can take it forward from there.
Yeah, like I've sent you the request in LinkedIn, like we can connect over there. Maybe like
Sure.
I'll ping you, like if I have any questions regarding that. Yeah.
Sure, definitely we can do that. I have shared the link right now. That's a product glossary. In that, everything under the umbrella of product management, you have entire glossary from A to Z. You click on something, you will have a documentation. You don't need Aditya, you don't need anyone. Actually, you can look there. Maybe from a perspective standpoint, you can reach to somebody, but that's everyone you can actually look at. That's a very good tool to explore the things of it.
All right. Thanks for that, Aditya. It was
You're
a
welcome.
nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, I am still there for another 15 minutes. If you are having any questions, feel free to ask. I see there is a question.
I wanted to ask
How
something.
a UI UX designer can be product manager, means any unlearning also he or she has to do. Being a future manager, I have to be. No, man, you don't have to unlearn the things. You can. It's not a Harry Potter wherein you can take the things and then drop it off. But you cannot. You don't have to unlearn the things. But for being as a user person, because your perspective would be much from a user standpoint, you also need to understand business acumen knowledge. Business insights are also equally important. So you need to get that mindset. You have to cultivate your mindset into product growth mindset part. That's all is important. That's is wherein you can transition into, because you are already an UX person, you will have a better grip on user journeys, user experience, doing those customer interviews and all. So it will be a great plus point for you, but it will not be a demotivation factor or anything. Just have to practice upon it. Hope I answered your question. Let me see if there are any questions where I can.
I have one question, Aditya.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so even in startup, there are 3 companies, like product-based company, service-based company, and there are some design agency. So
Right.
sometimes I got confused, like how to choose and what factors should we consider before choosing that, and there should be 2. How to decide.
See, I'll give you a response from a behind, okay, from designing standpoint, because the agencies or studios are design focused. The projects you will get it or also completely exclusive to design world only. Let's take, I want to revamp my website, right? I'll come to your team. You will say you will revamp it, and you will also do work for me on a branding of it, digitalization, social media presence, and a couple of things as well. Everything would be from a branding standpoint, user experience standpoint, how the things can be worked or showcased much better. What is that branding can be done? Branding is just not one small chunk, right? You have to do many other things. You have to create collaterals, you have to marketing collaterals, flyers, banners, business cards, letterheads. Not only that, there will be a word, there would be a voice of for branding as well. So every other project you get into design agencies will be focused on branding. I mean, like focus on design elements of it. So if you are a person who want to pursue your career focusly towards design, the globe and arena of design, you have to go for that. Design agency, that's what it is. Whereas from product and services, again, it's a long conversation, I would say. A product world, depending, again, this is subject to change. I'll try and take an example here. I'll not take examples because that's again comes under confidentiality. So let's take a laptop product company. Because the product company is being defined in such manner, or will be defined in such manner, the product, if again for product management companies, product focused companies, uh, if they are an MNC organization, their operations would be slow or medium pace, right? If the marketing saying something, they will get that into backlog. That backlogs get implemented for the next 2 years. The pace of the environment would be medium pace, I would say. Whereas in a service based company, because the product comes in, the product has to be completed in a specific timeline duration of it, and there would be a specific investments determined there. There will be a defined deadline for that aspect. And for after you completing the project or a product, you have to move on to the next project. So in order to have that, what you will do is it will go in a fast paced environment. So you'll have so much of work. One person would be working 10 hours, 12 hours a day. As test comes into picture, work flexibility might go off. So depends on how their operating is being defined, or their operating model is being defined, right? So based on that, it actually changes. We have to consciously do a research on product companies versus service based companies. What is their growth, depending on which category they are falling under. If they are a startup, not only looking at their growth factor, who are these investors, not only looking, you also need to do a research on the investors as well. Investors might say, I'm giving you the X number of amount today, but if they do not have proper credibility in the market, they might say after a month they will know, I'm breaching the contract, they will not give you any money. So when you're getting into a startup, you also look at the startup growth as well as who funded the company, and does the funded company has the credibility in the market. What is their credibility factor? You have to look at various other factors about it. Based on that, you have to join. Again, service based companies, product based company, you have to do multiple set of research work and understanding how the things will flow, and then go about it. As currently right now, to my knowledge, there is no one aggregator platform which can tell you that comparing everything and then shows you this. There is Glassdoor, you can do 2 comparisons of it, but that's all. There is an app called fishball.com, fishball app. By using the tool, you can understand, you can ask freely. It's just an open forum. People will respond that queries from the company anonymously, but you will get some perspective. It's something like a Quora, but professional Quora, I would say. So that's how the things will proceed. All right. There was some question on Hiteshu. What is KPI? KPI is key performance indicator, which is being used for success of your product. It's a metrics driven. So that will tell you how are you defining your product success. So based on the feature you have, you will be telling my product is successful if I get 100 customers, and if I can generate, let's take $1,000, right? If that's your purpose of your KPI, if that is being met or not, you will have to validate with that and see how the things are proceeding with. So it is definitely a success metrics on how you are defining your product. As it's a there are many layers into it on understanding what are the metrics involved, how do you define a success metrics, what is the North Star metrics, how do you calculate upon it. But yeah, that's the metrics part keeps on going on and on.
Hi Aditya, this is
Hey.
Farah here. I have a
Hi, Farah.
question.
Yep.
So as you mentioned, like the major difference between the PM and the UX designer is the mindset. The UXer is obviously thinking from the user's perspective, and the PM is thinking from the business perspective.
Subject to change again. Yeah.
Yeah,
Please go on with your question.
absolutely. So, like in our cohort, we are currently trying to understand that business perspective as well, so we can collaborate. Obviously, the PMs in the future as well, and it is a smooth process. And we have that understanding of that business while we are creating and prioritizing the solutions in our project.
Right.
Do you have any sources, how exactly we can acquire that business acumen that PMs have, so we can think from both perspectives while we are thinking about solutions and prioritizations.
Makes sense. See, let's take an example on your business perspective, or when you are discussing in with your product, with your team of people in a collaboration brainstorming room. Before entering into it, if you have and basic idea of what's that product might be, which industry it might fall under, which domain it is falling under, definitely you will do the basic research, right? If you are not doing, you have to do that basic research. That's one thing, to understand what are the nuances of a product, what are the again, this would be little additional of what you do generally, or to understand the perspective, also look at the competitor analysis, how the competitors are doing, what is their analysis of it at a high level. You don't have to get into details of it, but at a high level, what is the SWOT of each and everything. Rather than looking at SWOT, I would say look differently, reverse angle, look at threats, look at opportunities, look at weaknesses. By looking at these three things, you will understand what competitors are into and how you can add value to your product. Strengths are always there. Strengths will be there for every product, but looking at opportunities, threats, and weaknesses will give you an additional valuable for your product. So looking at these information will give you an upper hand, or I would say will give you a different perspective about it. And we have to look at various other details. That's one thing I would say. Understanding the business acumen, which is the knowledge of that particular product, is important. As I said, doing a research, some products would be there in the market that you do not have an idea. So look for a similar products, do your research, again, understand the product at a high level part, and that's wherein you have to go about it. There are definitely some tools wherein it actually gives you a very quick understanding about business acumen. Let me make a note. I'll share it with who Farah, you asked me this question, right?
Yes, yes.
Megha, do you have Farah's email address or something?
Aditya, I can connect with you on LinkedIn, and
Sure,
maybe
yeah.
you can share with me and I'll share with the community itself.
All right, perfect. I can do that too. So if you can ping me there, I'll share some links to you wherein it will help you to understand the business acumen knowledge. There is a step of process wherein you have to perform. So that will give you anything. Yeah, that would be 10 to 15 minutes of topic to help. So there is one principle, actually, I would say. If you know that principle, irrespective of any industry, that principle works seamlessly across all the industries: healthcare, automobile, audit, security, what else, real estate, edutech. Some of the industries I'm forgetting, but it works seamlessly, that there is a baseline approach. If you know that approach, it works seamlessly across all the verticals, and whenever you are in a given scenario, you will be able to connect dots here and there. I would say that.
Surely, Aditya. I'll connect with you, and
Sure.
I'll excited to learn more about it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you for thanks for the question. Sorry, someone is asking something.
Hi, Aditya.
Hi, who
Hi,
is
I'm Vinay
this?
here.
Hey, hi Vinay.
Vinay. Yes, I was asking about your perspective. Like you categorized it into startups, MSMEs, and MNCs.
Right.
So, like, if I want to get more experience, more knowledge, more uh, different stuffs, so
Okay.
should I get into a startup or not? Like the experience on a real struggle, which we say, we will get to know about that in startup or in MNCs more. Like what?
See, I would ask you one additional question. Are you financially good in the sense, do you
Mm-hmm.
have any
I'm
struggle from the
financially
financial
fair, I
stand?
would say.
Okay, then go for
Yeah.
startups, I would say.
Okay, that's great. Actually, I just wanted to ask that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's because I'm not saying that if you are not financially good or bad, you have to go for startup. The reason I'm saying is startup is always good. You'll have so much of learning, enormous
Yeah.
learning, I would say. You will not be master. Definitely you
Mhm.
cannot be master, but you will be jack of all trades.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
am very confident on that.
Mhm.
Only the thing is, because it's risky, because you
Yeah,
don't know when you will have your job or not.
right.
And if investment is not there, sometimes there might be a risk factor of you losing your job.
Mhm.
Even in MNCs also these days it is happening.
Yeah.
So it's a no big thing. But
Yeah.
if you are a person who want to learn a lot, you want to get excited a lot,
Mhm.
and you are fine to take some risk,
Mhm.
I would now, even after 10 years of experience, I would love to work in a startup there.
Okay, that's
What
thanks a lot for this.
Yeah, thanks Vinay for the question.
Aditya, what about the mid-level companies it is kind of having some funds, but still like we do have all these works trying to establish itself.
Right, as I said, the mid-level companies are partial, right? So it's still the process will be still stabilized in nature. You still can go there, you will get exposure towards it. The reason, okay, the majority level difference in startup, you learn 1 year of experience, you will get 5 years of experience from an MNC standpoint. In mid-level organization, you work for, let's take 2 years, or let's take 1 year. I would say your 1 to 2 years of experience, you can gain that in MNC from 3 years of experience, something like that. So that's a composition factor is there. But in mid-level organization, because it's partially been stable, you can go and explore yourself. It's just that the process would be already been governed. There would be sometimes process will not be there. You will get an opportunity to streamline the process of that. So either it is not completely baked, rather it is baked. It will be in between. So you have to go there, start baking it, and then start making it wonderful, add different layers of what you want, and then go about it. I'm talking in terms of a baking analogy part, but it's not completely baked. It's not completely heavily gone with the process or product. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
So you can go there, experience it, learn through the journey. You will also have learnings, but as I said, it will be restricted. You cannot go to marketing team if you are into product management, or if you are let's take a developer, you cannot get into sales team completely. You can chime into their conversations, understand how they are doing. You can share your perspective, but you cannot work with them, because those things are already been organized. Hierarchy structure will define. In startup, you will not have that structure defined yet. Organization hierarchy structure. Sorry again. So those are the high level difference. But if you are a person, you want to take that leftovers and then want to create a beautiful, amazing dish, or a half baked thing, you want to do an amazing dish, I will say go for that. I think this is the snacks time. So I'm giving all foodie examples.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
Yeah. It's okay. Uh,
Any more questions?